really see that. Because literally, because in some instances, and describing eventually what is happening, it's not very good when it comes to what's going to happen, and especially the politics. And you see, that's what. So when I talk
No,
what I
regime
would,
change is not good.
well, I know it's not about how to put land targets and how to change it to make. What it's really about is how bombing impacts the politics of society's target government. That's the specialty of
Well,
my
we're watching
area.
a video.
That's right, but that's not from the Air Force. It comes through the PhD at the University of Chicago. They're not coming along and put a bomb on a target and promote a below zone for that. That's not it. They're coming because they may, and some of them have come generally, and they want to know much more about the actual strategy of air strategy, not the tactics of the air observation. And they don't want to just be Muslim because many of them, well, in their careers have seen, although they didn't call themselves that, they've seen it in their careers, which is everybody was 100% confident just before the attack because they knew they could destroy the targets when things started to rise, things started going a different direction. And that is where I think, and so
Well, if something goes from good to the rest, it didn't change because there's especially America, make the government more aggressive instead of the process. I have patients dealing with it about those kind of things. Yes, yes, they do. I think gas. I don't know if gas is included, but he is. We've mentioned several times about how like the Cuban government got so strict and authoritarian.
All raiders, we have ARC on screen.
Because
5 minutes left.
U.S.
Go
wouldn't
on your
stop
way home. I repeat, 5 minutes.
take over and take over. They legally have to essentially disrupt U.S. or Cuba into their Epstein islands. You know what I mean? It essentially just bow to U.S. interests. So it sucks.
it was much more, it's too much more.
Yeah, well, I think absolutely. I mean, it doesn't necessarily
Reasons to provide.
mean, well, you can see and also because of Jeff Bezos and in completely different ways. And yet, despite all this great learning given in past, the US seems to be sailing into this without this
We have to rewrite our thinking when it comes to air strategy and national security
I'm
strategy.
feeling better because I'm feeling better because Iran is not laying down and taking. So I do feel better about it. I feel better because and I can see mostly that this is just hurting the Trump administration horribly. Reputation-wise, and I think that that's beautiful. Actually, I wanted to look at what Megyn Kelly had Marjorie Taylor Greene on her show, which I'm going to look at later, which was interesting. Mind you, I'm a leftist, but I'm looking at it because you should monitor what your opposition is.
Which is, we're no longer privileged in depth of knowledge of strategy. And we used to in the Cold War. We also, although we were kind of a little thrown off in the 90s, because I was teaching for the Air Force, I was debating the leadership decapitations on school, but the actual advocates who originated the entire strategy. I know them very, very well. I would go to different parts of Norway. We would debate in front of the Norwegian Air Force. We would debate in front of the German Air Force. We would debate in front of the American Chief of Staff of the Air Force. So very, very familiar with how this actually emerged. But the fact of the matter is, in the 90s, and then even as we got into the Forever War, we still had this depth of knowledge, and we also had desire to know. But as we got into the like a lot of old strategy didn't really matter. The quick weapons terrorists. So, and of course, my work changes as well. So I'm not saying adapt. But what we saw in the last 20 years is you've seen a real disconnect with the depth.
I'm always stressing it.
Just what is happening here. So that's one of the things I'm doing. The escalation trap Substack, which is I'm giving like little mini case studies of what happens when you actually kill the leader.
Maybe we'll check in with
Study
your
case and really see what happened when that really happened. There's just so much to really draw from. And it's one of the reasons it's really taken off. There's really something to watch because I think now that we're in the middle of the crisis, people are really hungry for this. And they can't get it in the New York Times. They can't get it anywhere else because you know, they weren't like any of them. And even if they were, they don't. The editors become down to really cover those events the way we used to all this time.
Yeah, I suppose, I mean, setting aside Venezuela for just a moment, on the basis of the hours being really very down to domestically kind of driven political circumstances, sort of possible time as a whole, basically.
Iran doesn't have the capacity to bomb the mainland US, and it wouldn't because that would be national stupid. That would get all of our allies working with us to make sure that my worry is though it's realistic.
Well, I mean, this appears to be the first time we've actually tried to decapitate a state in 20 years since
So this, and you're listening to some of the history here, and this just in the Precision A. So the very first.
No. Sorry. Nuclear.
Apologies. I misspoke.
A
Dropping
been
in
reported in the area. It has a queen guarding it, but if you've got the guts and the guns, there's plenty of good loot for the taking.
a new
In the Precision Age was Ronald Reagan, April 1986, when he sought to use some of our earliest precision weapons to decapitate Muammar Gaddafi.
I don't know,
He literally bombed his tent where he was sleeping. We missed him by seconds because he literally stepped out of his tent in the middle of the night. We killed everybody else in that tent, including his 3-year-old daughter. But we just happened to miss him. And this is a point I make here, retaliation, nationalism, it kind of comes in, but it doesn't come the very next day. It comes on the target's timetable, not on the attacker's timetable. 2 years later, Libyan intelligence agents blew up an enterprise 103 in retaliation, killing 271, everybody on board, 190 Americans on board. And your government, Britain, there was a giant trial here with an international court that went on for years in the 90s, has loaded with documents and so forth of the connection with the Libyans and et cetera, et cetera. So that was actually the first actual precision air campaign was leadership decapitation. And you can really kind of understand that if you suddenly have to...
Their strategy seems to just deplete U.S. and Israeli resources. I mean, yes. And I do think that is the best thing they can do because they don't need to defeat the U.S. necessarily. They just need to outlast the U.S. and Israel. And I do think that is possible. Yeah, all Iran has to do is make this is extremely expensive and costly, both reputation-wise and money-wise, and I mean, my God, just like our supplies.
Cool. And before the precision age, your bomb fell within, at best, 1,000 feet of your target half the time. 1,000 feet of your target half the time. And suddenly, the Reaper walks in and says, well, Mr. President, with this new technology, it is now within 10 feet, 90% of the time. you can see right away that they start thinking about officers, leaders. It's just inexorable that happens. So that was really the first case, and then
Yes, here's for tears. I heard that yes, like interceptors are much more costly virtually than ROMs. So we are using up a lot of interceptors that we have. And Iran, like, is Iran has had a long time to make a lot of missiles and a lot of bombs.
the first Gulf War in 1991, it opened with a campaign called Instant Thunder, which was designed by Doug Gordon, large advocate of leadership decapitation strikes. He got the idea from our leadership decapitation models, nuclear weapons. I know this in depth because I spent years with it. I know quite as John was really such a true believer. He was glad to talk voluminously about his ideas. Anyway, so he designed the campaign Instant Thunder that led off the first Gulf War, January 17, 1991. It was a 3-day air war that could then be repeated with a 6-day war. And the whole idea was to win the war with air power alone. And it was targeting on Saddam Hussein, all those leadership targets, hundreds of them, not a few here or there, and all of the principles. Almost 100% tactical precision success. And nonetheless, in that case, Saddam was not killed himself, but even more important, no paralysis. No paralysis. Now, there was a 39-day air campaign. We smashed the army in place. My book, Bombing Twin, goes through this in detail to explain. With precision air power, the actual revolution is your ability to bomb.
Let's play for the munitions with gold. It fucking pisses me off every time I see footage from the White House and with the Oval Office and shit, and it just looks. Thank you, Bopa, or whatever that was. I don't know what that soundbite was. Okay. Alright. Anyway, how do you want to say? Oh, the one that just took
But that really comes out it's real, but it's not against evil. It's not against the field. Well, anyway, so we did hit some of that. We use our
It's gonna be back on this time.
he literally called on Saddam Hussein, the 20% military she was 40%. So you would have so you could weaken Saddam's weaken, sure his regime, all these different ways. What happened? The Shia rose up and Saddam slaughtered that was one of the most embarrassing, morally destructive moments here. I taught many of those pilots who were involved in this situation and teachers of the Air Force here. This is a really amazing thing. You might say, well, okay, when no bullets come against the civilian uprisings here, the co-op shirts don't act like those bullets go right through them and anyway. And so it was just here. And you saw that with the Iranian here just a few weeks ago. In hours we're in there too. In the news.
It's like, you know, do all that. Yes.
How many times? How much of the best? Oh,
see, we're not, but I'm just saying, the problem here is the people who pay the price are usually the credible disability. And what happened was the case of the rocket was that set back democracy for a long time. In fact, many people, even after a ground war, that don't necessarily sure Iraq was democracy.
Yeah, no, I completely agree. It's a chilling analysis. Okay, I think the point I was making was that this is the first time really since the Iraq war that we've actually tried this decapitation strategy.
It's the first time against states here, but let me just sort of add, and I'm sorry to keep jumping in, but against terrorist leaders who do this all the time. Simple, of course. So just literally, Israel has taken numerous Hamas leaders. They just
Yeah, I
played some
heard about that, Wizards.
here, and it's
I think we saw that
really
last
not
night.
having any real effect. Now, I have also studied the issue of air power against terrorist groups and air power against capitating terrorist groups in great detail. I actually, it was my center, we conducted a 15-volume study for the military on this about 10 years ago. So we called it the Over the Horizon campaigns here. So we studied all of them, psychologists all over the place. So we know really quite a bit about this issue. And let me just simply say, 90% of the time it's exactly the same story as with states. There is a corner, I'll tell you where with a terrorist group, get more.
I'm sick of this whole man. No offense to him. I was just like, damn. So on Sunday, doing the third going at his house with his family. One of the American soldiers came on Sunday. What the fuck is this? Oh, I'm kind of the rest of your friends. I hope you don't blame the Iranians.
Attention all raiders. We've got confirmed reports of a harvester nearby. That means a queen should be present as well, so be on your guard and only engage it if you're prepared for the fight.
Have you heard about the military commander? Telling troops running instead of dogs to buy something? Yeah, I think I've seen a couple of posts, which is scary. And I guess sometimes we forget that so many involved together.
I'm at the line. The candle. Just the power. I'm here for 5 minutes.
What is this fucking gun? Why do they have another camera?
And I'd also like to send you prayers. Yesterday, or President today, I'd like to give you an operational update on where we are and why we are.
Well, I hope the families of the deceased know that the only ones to blame for them are the company and the hard to find that. We'll help them with this later. I didn't see this.
I want to president I'm going to Having spent over 36 years in the military, I could not be proud of with 50,000 fighters, 2 aircraft carriers, capabilities. These forces bring a massive amount of power, representing in the opening of most Operation Security, U.S. Central Command, together with the global development and unprecedented first point of this operation is double.
It's kind of dope to show videos of people getting blown up.
So really the way that hundreds in simple terms, we're focused on shooting all the things that we do. Like we can bombers, more bombers, just last night, we just shoot up the
So the more that have boots on the ground.
Thus far, we deployed 17 minutes, which operated but now have closed. For decades, the running today, there's not a single Iranian ship on the way to the Union Gulf, Uniform News, and we will continue to conduct dynamic targeting operations for hunting along last remaining goals of the missile launches to eliminate what I would say is their single now in retaliation for running over 500 million over 2,000 to clear Iran is indiscriminately targeting as they don't having said this,
I mean, they're targeting U.S. bases. So not civilians by definition. Maybe in Israel.
our partners with the while our my overall operation along the way, every single branch of the military I'll talk about. Our naval forces have deployed multiple ways of liberating Iranian three aircraft carriers that were freezing away.
Yeah, we're going to look at that later.
Powerful air force our U.S. Army base extended itself and its partners to the support coast, U.S. Army and its longer providing unreliable also for the first U.S. support I'd like to point out that during the original we took them back to America, data center, just we did not prouder of our name of its innovation.
What? Why is he bragging about that? What? So before we weeks, but we almost died. And the White House is saying 4 weeks. 4 weeks, and there might be, like, did you get them? What is this?
Finally, let's get this going.
What's the break? They're putting it on that. Oh, that's technically. Oh, that's that's crazy. Mutual insurance have been complaints made to work with the Religious Freedom Foundation.
Anybody want to puzzle with me?
Facebook. One fully edited
Way over here.
That's the one this is called reference.
People over there.
Jesus Christ. So that takes the front like the main like the bird. If you can find this kind of Israel or the U.S. Once the goals for natural movement for 1% law, it obviously provides accepted focus the segment consists of the population of the liquid or the high-profile problems. The legacy especially unfortunately cannot be avoided. What the? So they're telling us that going to war feels like this kind of experience, but like military leaders are telling officers to fucking like telling that this is the end times. That this is the like Jesus has personally Donald Trump as the one who will start propaganda. That's crazy. What if you have to watch this Professor Liang? I wish we could talk about the Holocaust. But it's not just let's take a look at what he said. Right. Along with by leadership, the leadership will be like,
Somebody
maybe
else.
it was the one who went up and said,
I don't know how DP. What the hell?
it was us that decided,
You know what? I do have DP. Thank you. Yeah. I wanted to rock here, bro.
maybe tonight or another night. But like they're running back everything saying no, we didn't win the war just because Israel is going to not out because Martin was hurting. Maybe I should stream now because then the whole like it's just the message. This has been so messy and strange. It has been so messy and strange. Let's see. Hi everyone, we are proceeds to be joined by Michael Show, Dr.
Good to be with you.
So we just played the army the image graph came from the fact that Israel was going to attack Iran, regardless of whether they involved or not. We knew that because our US services was at risk. Therefore, we felt compelled to strike Iran first. The reaction
Divided
but our
Check it out. But there's still to do. But at the end of the day, the Israelis have been driving the boat in this one, and that the United States has followed it and they let them decide when the US goes to war and it doesn't. This is, at the end of the day, a decision they made. They made a decision to let the Israelis decide. And now they're trying to hide behind that because that is not a decision. At this point, there's no speculation validated in here. It is coming out of the mouth. Again, it's coming out of the
Okay, so it's in the title. I'm a noted peace home. I'm anti-war, no war. This is crazy. It's so stupid.
Yeah, the house as well. It is now here. This is what we decided. This is now my favorite. America first. This is Israel first.
This is probably the most and that's his one. I really don't even know where to go. Saying, what A6 is it? I really love this stuff. Matt Walsh he put out. I've got some questions. We're going to destroy the regime's mission, raise the missile between the regime. We're going to annihilate the nation. We're going to ensure the regime's terrorist process. Guarantee that Iran is never continuing preventing the regime from killing terrorists who This is a regime change, and I don't see any way to be realistic without effective
So here's what I think about it before you start. Here's I think how we got here. The administration was led by the Israeli because it's going to be a very sick language. They profit by stumbling this would have been documented. The regime would have been told how to get the calculation of the supercomputer. That obviously did not work. Twice, reportedly found so now,
It's pretty significant. This thing, obviously, part of it, that's not a the White House. Doing it good. Do you think that they really thought that this would the death of Angola or with the death of her stuff to do with it? Everybody wants to the very fake. Like this, we and I also feel like the people of Iran, it's not exactly like yes, the people of Iran fear and they really do this part of social like I think they really gotta do something that people would accept or just do like they do like more fake news. Like I don't even think that they're winning. I don't even know if they're winning. Or maybe they're not stay safe. Do you think there's any chance of like I don't know how much but like are people you said you're gonna do a do you think the government of the UAE is like interested in working with them? Oh, gotcha. Okay. Is it off of uploading? I think if they did, oh my god, I think they fucking released that shit. If 48 days is not something some of them are already saying shit like, yeah, I didn't even
Head home at the warehouse air shaft.
that. Yeah, no, they're really just trying to normalize it before any of this shit could happen. It's crazy. You all understood that back when when the president was in the campaign? Oh, shit. It's just I don't know.
Perspective is the tool, which makes perspective outweighs what they did at the time. Or the challenge, not that it did, but political. People stuff them more volumes. Yeah. The temperature was
But do you think it's going to, like, would that increase willingness to transportation in the future? It just, at this point, I'm just like, I feel like with Netanyahu at the head, Israel is never going to be peaceful. And after this, I think even with Netanyahu gone, I think that this, like, the ill will, many of the surrounding, like Arab and Persian countries, like, I don't think that's just gonna go away overnight. Because their children and their children's children will remember that, and that's why it's bad to randomly attack nations, because people remember.
Trying to essentially convince the Iranians that no, the United States is more than ready to withstand this for a long time. He suddenly said 4 weeks, and that now, as a
I think that Russia, China, and the EU will provide a little bit of aid to their allies, but I do not think will get involved in an offensive capacity.
result of the Iranians refusing a ceasefire, he is going even more massive. So he is throwing good money after bad money after his first completely unrealistic expectation was not met. And this is the very definition of losing control. We're not even 2 or 3 days into the war, and it's already clear they have lost control. Look at how they are grasping for straws, not just to find what objectives they should have, but also to justify them. And in that effort, they have gone as far as to say that Iran is at war with civilization, to actually admitting.
Offline chatter, I don't think any of this is amusing. These are people's lives. And they may not be Americans, but they're people. Just like us. And we are severely destabilizing the country and killing their children. Americans, offline chatter. Okay, I see the opposite. I see what you're saying. But don't bedpost. Do not put careful chatter. I know you're drunk, but you're almost bedposting. You're almost bedposting. Ooh. I get what you're saying now. Don't bedpost.
All of this was done because Israel decided it was time to go.
So I want to go back to why Trump let himself be led around by the nose by Israel, because clearly there was some reluctance from the administration. They were concerned. You had the top military brass here leaking to basically every newspaper they could get a hold of to say, this is a real problem. We are not ready. There's an interceptor issue. This is not going to go well. There's tremendous risks here. And yet, in spite of all of that, and in spite of all of the very clear campaign promises that, we're going to play them later, he made, J.D. Vance made, Tulsi Gabbard made, RFK Jr. made, Stephen Miller, like every top person in this administration said,
because China currently, I think, has pretty good standing with the rest of the world, and I think that fucking with Taiwan would like ruin that for them.
Oh, of course, we're not going to go to war with Iran. In spite of all of that, he still ends up making a decision to do Israel's bidding. Like, what can explain that? Is it just the power of the Israel? Is it that you're in some money? Like, how does this calculation get made when you have so many people, from the political people to the military people, warning that this is going to be a disaster?
I am starting to think that this might have been they can't take Taiwan now. Probably not, because whenever they put a ship near Taiwan, we put our ships near there too. I feel like what's interesting is that, like, I'm starting to think, just because so many, this was such an unpopular decision and the Pentagon was upset, I am wondering if this was Trump as a narcissist being flattered by Bibi and kind of convinced to do this bullshit. You know, kind of like a pinky in the brain sort of deal. Yeah, the tail wagged the dog or something like that. That's kind of what it feels a bit. Like I was not. I didn't think so at first. I was like, surely there's no way. But this just feels like
It's really difficult to explain, and I absolutely cannot claim to know the answer. I think part of the answer is he has been long enough to this belief that everything he has done has been an absolutely amazing success, and everything he did was in contradiction.
I agree. But San Francisco is going to be fine. Like, I think that, I think he's a puppet of everyone. I mean, Vince helped convince him to do this. To hold the plot. And Vince is Peter Thiel's role, as far as I know. Which is weird because Vince is so ugly. And if I recall correctly, Peter Thiel likes the girls. Even Karen Donnie can do it. It's crazy. Flatter him and insane shit.
Trump's big credential was that he did. They told him that he can't leave the embassy, he did nothing. They told him that he couldn't recognize people on eyes, he did nothing. They told him you can't kill Soleimani, he did, in his view, nothing happened. They told him that he can't take out Fordo, he did, in his view, nothing happened. And then, of course, he did Venezuela, and upon this massive sugar by the August of the and they refuse it to the very leader. That's the sort of thing. Look, the Iranians are just so weak. All you need to do is push a little bit. You're going to be the hero. You're going to be the president that finally puts an end to this regime. Everyone said that you can't do it. That's precisely why you should do it. Because only you can prove that wrong.
Maybe they locked up a newspaper.
I mean, they played to us like the obvious thing. Yeah, we should say
Apollo here. I start checking the water distillation system in the underground tunnels.
what do you
Should be a lot to learn there from my own designs.
to maybe
It's like as he gets older, he is just kind of like mentally a child. I guess he's always kind of been like that. He wants to be around famous people, but it's just crazy.
Diplomatic overtures from the Trump administration. What is the internal logic inside the regime right now? It seems pretty clear that they expected to take mass casualties, adopt a decentralized military command. What is their internal assessment, as far as you can tell? How are they doing for what they're thinking?
first thing we have to say, they truly understand how they're thinking. Because they truly, if you like Israelis who often go out and say, oh, this is existential, this could be this, this is why they make the decision to go there. They believe that the key secure, in which after the US is coordinated with if they were remobilized, and then 6 months later, remobilized. If there's to be a ceasefire, it has to be a prolonged and durable one. The only way the ceasefire durable, they believe, if it would work at a tremendous cost to all sides. So that all sides believe it was a mistake to start, and it was a mistake to restart. If they agree to a ceasefire to without that cost actually being felt, they believe that it will only give the other side, US and Israel, time to be able to keep it. This is many of them believe that the Israelis are a very, very bad operation. They're going to run out of infrastructure. They're going to stay and they're playing that mistake. Well,
That was another incredible video. If we also talked about that.
absolutely.
You
Give me another
Yeah,
job.
mission kidnapping drones is very expensive. They can make the drones quickly and move it. India, India do that.
Zmiana.
People should like boycott the Olympics. Like people should not come to the U.S. for the Olympics. I do feel like the world needs to push back on those things. I would say whatever. What about the world? Like literally boycott the U.S. Move it. Don't go.
What?
Move it as you want. You can make it something like okay, then why are we doing this?
Date pues, puta mierda. It's gonna
Tell me more about what you,
Okay.
tell me more about what you mean by that, and just to, as a little framework, what you A9 for you now know about it. We've followed here, have been the Olympics, the team have been seriously wounded. You have U.S. embassies that are being attacked in a number of countries, both by Iran and also by local people. We know now we have confirmation that U.S. Marines were shooting at civilian rioters at the U.S. embassy in Karachi in Pakistan. We can put A11 up on the screen. So already the Strait of Hormuz is sort of de facto closed because the insurers pulled the plug on shipping traffic. So basically we're not going to. Isn't that the craziest thing? Did you guys hear about that? That the insurance stuff, like insurance around the Strait of Hormuz, like dropped their policies. Insane. I can't believe they're allowed to just do that too. For your now, Reuters is reporting Iran is notifying vessels it is officially closing the Strait of Hormuz. It's officially closed. 20+ million barrels of oil per day will be impacted. 20% of the supply. Qatar has stopped their LNG production. Gas prices in Europe are skyrocketed about 15%. So when you say we're going to throw everything that we have at it and we're going to go big, what does that actually in effect look like?
Let me start off by just saying one other thing that's important. Just a couple of days, about 3 days before Trump decided to start this war, I was in a closed meeting with a bunch of former officials, analysts, military people, and the general view in the room.
Cállate, pedazo de trola, puta de mierda.
They would never attack the GCC states. It would be too passive for them. And I think it reflected the fact that it just not really dawned upon people. The manner in which Trump is doing this is making a clear signal to the Iranians this is an existential fight. That in an existential fight, they're not going to think about tomorrow. They're not going to think about what GCC Iran relations are going to be a year from now. They're going to think about how they survive this war. And as a result, decisions that were perceived to be unthinkable just
Yes. Troll.
Decision makers, I think it reflects what also decision makers have been thinking.
Oh my god, I had a friend in college who was like, called me, I don't know if my dad was a doctor. Like, oh, he works in healthcare too. He works for a health insurance company, and I was like, your dad's job is like making sure people die. Your dad's job is to make it really hard for people to stay alive and healthy. Bro, we are not the same. Do not tell me that your dad works in healthcare. Your dad works in death. Your dad, was she hot though? We actually went on a date. But I never went on another date with her after that because she told me she's only attracted to white people.
She was Indian, but I don't date people who tell me that they're only attracted to white people, because one, I think it's weird. Two, I think I'm really cute. I think I'm very cute, and I feel like people who only like white people, it's like they don't really care if the white person is cute, you know, they'll just go for it. Like Anthony Mackie. And so I'm just like, not about it. Like I want to be seen as cute. But they because I'm cute, not just because they're like, oh, you are white. Choose personal or personal orientation because of their preference.
Follow here. The cultural archives in Stellamontis are pretty well guarded, so don't forget to hum a suspenseful tune while you search for those movies.
Can be cute and of course you can do that. Surely this is a joke.
I think what it was the war business.
One thing that really struck me dark spots. So those so it's like a weird because what it doesn't, I don't think it matters.
There's a bashing player. Bash is over here on the floor. You did.
But it's not it's so stupid because honestly people that are studying it gets less well written